Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Liz and today I'm going to bring you some cute boho decor. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. For this DIY, you're going to grab two metal hoops. One was 10 inches long and the other was 14 inches long. You can grab these from any kind of craft store. I found them at Joann's, but I know you can also get them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Or you could even take apart one of the Dollar Tree metal wreaths and use two rings out of there. So I'm just going to start by taking some twine. I'm going to double knot it to my smaller hoop, and then I'm just going to start wrapping the twine all the way around the hoop. Now this DIY, it did take quite a bit of time, so if you're gonna do this, turn on a good movie or a good audiobook and just relax and craft. It's very repetitive and kind of monotonous, so you're just gonna do the same thing over and over and over again. So like I said, I'm just going to take this twine and tightly wrap it around the hoop. I did add some hot glue here and there just to keep it in place so that it wouldn't unwind all the way. I mostly did that so that if I accidentally let go, it wouldn't just completely unravel and I'd have to start over. So I just did a little dab of hot glue here and there to secure it in place. And then once you are completely done wrapping that twine around there, you're just going to take those two ends and tie a double knot to keep your twine from unraveling. So this is what it's going to look like with the twine on there. And now you're going to do the exact same thing to your 14-inch wreath. So now here is what they both look like completely wrapped. So I'm going to take some of this white rope that I have. The one on the right is from Dollar Tree. The one on the left is from Joann's. You can see that they were a little bit different and I was a little worried that I wasn't going to have enough of one. Luckily, I was able to just use all the Dollar Tree rope, so I didn't have to worry about the ropes looking different. So all I did was measure out how long that I wanted these pieces to be from my largest loop. Essentially, how long do you want strings to hang from that big loop? So I just start measuring my rope and cut a few pieces. I'm going to take this rope and I'm going to unravel it. The Dollar Tree rope comes apart in 3 separate pieces, which is super awesome because now I'm getting even more pieces from my rope. So you're going to do that with all of the rope. You're going to completely unravel it into 3 separate pieces, and then you're just going to go through and measure out your rope and start cutting pieces. Now you are going to attach it to your hoop. So what I'm going to do is from the inside of the hoop, I'm going to take one of those pieces of rope. I'm going to fold it in half, take that loop and put it underneath the hoop, and then grab those 2 ends and pull it through that loop. And then I just pull tight. You can probably understand it better visually than me trying to explain what I'm doing, but I just take a piece of rope, fold it in half, then starting from the inside of the hoop, I take that loop of rope, put it underneath the hoop, and then pull those ends through. And I'm gonna do this for all of my pieces of rope. I had some of the pieces of rope in the middle a little bit longer than the outside because I did want this to kind of be in a triangle shape. I just added as much rope for as wide as I wanted those pieces to go. And then I tried using a comb to comb out all of these strands of rope. It was not working out for me. I probably needed a different brush, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to make this look more stringy. It just looks like thick pieces of rope at this point, so I'm gonna start by unraveling each piece of rope. And I just went piece by piece and unraveled, and then once I had all of those unraveled, I went back through and unraveled them even more until I got it as stringy as I wanted it. Like I said, this did take quite some time, especially if you're unraveling each piece individually. And if you make them as small as I made them, it did take quite a while. And I turned on some ID crime shows and just sat and unraveled for a good portion of time. Now, once everything was unraveled the way that I liked it, I just combed through it with my fingers. I wanted to try to make sure that all the rope was nice and straight so that it was going to be even when I cut it. And then I took my scissors and I started cutting in a triangle shape. I did not do this perfect. The sides were not completely even, but once it's hanging up on a wall, you honestly can't really tell. So just do your best and try to get it as even as you possibly can. Now for my 10-inch hoop, I'm going to take some black string that I had and I'm just going to start measuring it out and then cutting myself individual pieces, just like the rope, but because this is much thinner than the rope, I'm going to have to do a lot more pieces. I just start by cutting strips of string until I think I have enough, and then I'm going to follow the same process as I did with the larger rope. Going to tie those all on there, and then I'm just going to use as much string as however wide that I want the string to go on the hoop. And then once I get all the string on there, I'm going to go through with a comb and I'm just going to comb my string out, making sure that it's nice and even. And then again, I'm just going to go through and cut myself a little triangle at the bottom. And then I just went back and forth until I felt like it was even enough or as best as I could get it. Now I'm going to place my smaller loop inside of my bigger one. I'm going to align them so that the rope and the string match up as close as possible. And I'm going to take some twine. I'm going to wrap it around the top of both of those loops, tie it in a knot, and then I'm going to start wrapping that twine around both loops. And then once I have that twine wrapped around, I'm just going to double knot it in place. And that is it for this super cute wall hanging. I'm actually really impressed that I made this. Even though it took forever, I actually really like it. So I'm so excited to put it up in my home.
You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You can ride out all the blue. I wanna do.
If you guys are new, hey, my name's Liz and I love everything DIY and crafting. If that's something that you enjoy, consider subscribing to my channel and becoming a part of my little crafting family. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook where you can see all the other projects that I'm doing, and you can shop my decals through my Facebook shop. For this DIY, you're going to take a terracotta pot. I got these from the Dollar Tree. It came in a 2-pack, so they were 50 cents each. I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and plaster, and I'm going to give this pot a good 2 coats of paint. Now, when I was doing a little bit of research on what kind of boho items I wanted to make, I saw so many planters that had such beautiful designs on them, and they all looked so gorgeous. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try my hand at doing some little designs. It didn't turn out completely perfect, but I thought that considering my freehanding is not so great, that they were super cute. So I'm just gonna paint a little bit on the inside to make sure that once you put your florals or whatever you decide to put in there, you're not gonna see that terracotta color. Now I'm going to grab a black paint pen and I'm just going to start drawing little arrow shapes on the top of my terracotta pot. I did 3 in a row, all going the same way, and then I flipped it around and did that again so the arrows are facing each other. Again, you'd think that, you know, just drawing lines isn't that hard and you can make it look really good no matter what. Apparently, I cannot make things even to save my life, so this is the way that it turned out, but you're just gonna do that all the way around your pot. They didn't end up completely even, and some of them were a little wonky, but I still think this turned out really cute. Apparently I should have used a ruler of some sort. I don't know. And then I'm going to go around and add little dots just below that. And then I thought that it was still missing something, so I just drew a line at the bottom of the pot about a ½ inch up, and I'm just going to paint the bottom of the planter with my Waverly chalk paint in ink. Once everything is dried, I'm going to take some of this floral foam that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to add this to my planter, and then I'm going to take some Spanish moss that you can also get from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to tuck that on in there so you can't see any of that foam. I'm going to take a succulent that I got from Joann's last season, and I'm going to push that down in the middle. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to take some little stones and add that around my little terracotta pot, and that is it for this super cute planter. I absolutely love it.
We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need.
For our last DIY, I'm going to take this canvas that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start by removing that sawtooth hanger and all the staples from the back. You don't necessarily need to remove the staples, but they were pretty easy to come out of this frame. So once you get all those staples out, you can remove that canvas from its frame and you're left with this bare frame. I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and ink and I'm going to give this entire thing a coat of that color. And this did soak up quite a bit of paint, so I did have to go in with another coat. Now to attach the canvas back to my frame, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue around one of the corners of the frame, and then I'm just going to flip it over and press it down onto my canvas. To make sure that that canvas is nice and tight on that frame, I'm going to flip it back over, add some hot glue around the frame, and then I'm going to pull the canvas tight and secure it to the hot glue. And I just did that around all 4 sides. Once that was secured in place, I just went in with my staple gun just for a little extra support, just in case that hot glue over time came undone. Those staples would be there to hold it together. And now I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to trim off all the excess pieces around the sides. And that's it for this DIY. This is so easy to make. And the fact that it's only $1 and you get this super cute boho sign.
I can take you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high. I'm staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
That's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which project was your favorite in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!